All right, we are live for episode 86, and this is going to be the Telesto episode. um, this is the pre-show, and I was hanging out until we get some stuff posted, and going to dive into the episode. If you haven't been around Destiny or on Twitter this week, if you're one of the people who just boycotted it, or you just like haven't had the time, Telesto's been doing weird stuff this week. It's got like alternate fire mode on like Tuesday to Wednesday. It was shoot and like the bolts will go out, then go up into the sky, almost like a constellation. So people were trying to map those out. Yesterday it fired and stuck to the wall, and when it exploded, did like extra void bursts around it, almost like the void scatter grenade. And that's pretty much what's been going on right now. It also fire, it like smokes and sparks. And then as you load into the game today, Bungie posted a emblem code that you can go to the Bungie rewards and put it in. We'll talk about this later, but it is 9LX7YC6TX. You'll kind of see it as kind of like the background of the thumbnail. And so if you want that, it's free to go get. And Bungie loves to give away free emblems when we could have done something cool in game to earn it. So, Chad.
Yep.
Have you fired Telesto this week, and what do you think is going to come of all this?
I have fired TELESTO this week. That's one of the first things I did on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because I was very deep into the rabbit hole with everyone, hoping that something was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew that there was this emblem in the game for TELESTO. So when this stuff started happening on Tuesday, everyone's like, "Ooh, maybe this is an event. Maybe this is how we unlock the emblem. Something's gonna happen. It's shooting out shapes that are constellations and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, it'd be really cool if this was something. And Bungie has done things that are something.
Mm-hmm.
But it would also be equally funny if it was nothing.
Yeah.
And so far, it's looking like the nothing.
Yeah. If it's literally just like whatever to help bridge the gap to whatever they have going on for the last like few weeks of the season, so be it. But what day is the season? It's December 6th, right? It's for season 19. Man.
Yeah. I keep thinking the 8th, but that's because that day is important to me because of the dungeon.
But the
not
dungeon,
any other reason.
The dungeon comes on the 9th.
The 9th, yeah. But like, the only reason I'm remembering the 6th is because on that Friday is the dungeon. I'm like, I don't even care about the season. I just want the dungeon.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I have some talk about these last 4 weeks are basically going to be speculation talk since lore is out. There's literally no lore left in this season. I've wrung it dry, and there's nothing left to talk about. Nothing new came out of King's Fall, so nothing there.
Yeah.
And we've already gone very, very deep dive into Oryx and King's Fall, the actual raid and everything, due to Witch Queen coming out. That season before that, we went very deep
we did,
into the Hive. So it's gonna be like some light speculation today with setting up what the next week or two is gonna be, and then the last week is hoping that they release something. And if they don't, it's just gonna be me asking you guys or Jared and Ryan for their hopes for the next season, and me trying to find evidence to back them up, regardless of what their guesses are.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously know what my hope is, and I'll talk about it. But I already have the Telesto lore prepared here. It's literally just the lore from the gun. So once we get there in the TWAB, I can talk about it a little bit. But It's definitely cool. I like that they added the animations that they did, like the sparking and the smoke coming off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I hope that they get rid of the slow fire rate and the weirdness, but leave the sparking and stuff on it.
Oh,
Because that would be neat. I would love that. It's just consistently smoking. Oh, there goes Big Boy. I mean, here comes Big Boy. Hi, Big Boy.
Hey. Good. Yay.
Oh,
Hey.
your screen's black. I don't know.
I can't tell. Oh,
Is that the
reserve?
malt?
Yes.
Yeah, I've had it once at a bar. Yeah, I don't really remember, like loving
Never
it,
tried
but
it.
I don't remember hating it either. So
Never tried it. Greg Hall brought me a bottle. He wanted to try some of my stuff, so I let him pick out a bottle, and he gave me that bottle.
yeah, I think like Woodford's always good, and I think that one has a different kind of flavor profile, but it tastes pretty good.
He made sure to grab a bottle of Antique 107. Whenever he gave me this bottle,
Yeah,
so
it's about the same.
like sounds good, man. I've got 2 or 3 bottles of it, so
Yeah, my wife like she went through the liquor cabinet and she goes, "You have 5 bottles of Weller Antique," and I was like, "Yeah, I know. You weren't supposed to be looking in the back corners of the liquor cabinet to find it."
yeah. You worry about yourself.
Yeah, I know where they're at. You just leave them there.
You right.
Just leave them be. Oh man. Yep. Whew.
I was the the beer place here in South Shore. They had ordered me a case of the 90-minute IPAs.
Oh
And
yeah.
they were supposed to be delivered today, but they didn't.
Mm.
That day.
Yeah. You're talking about Dogfish Head, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they order it, but like I'm the only one that buys it. So
Yeah.
I'm the only one that buys any IPA in the entire city, I think. I really don't think that that's like
I don't
I'm
think
really
that's
not sure that that is an exaggeration.
no, because whenever I remember stopping in there and I just like, oh, what IPAs they got? They're like, we don't know. We might have something from Rheingeist or Mad Tree. Like, that'd be it. Yeah. Yeah. So I was leaving work today, and there was like a wreck that was in between my home and work, but there's only one overpass to get over the highway, and I just completely backed up. So I was like, kept on driving because I had to go to the barber anyways. Like I had enough time to go home, shower, and change clothes, and then go. But if I did, I wouldn't get back in time like normally if I didn't have that wreck. So I just went to the bar, and they had Great Lakes Christmas Ale on draft.
How is it?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm also gonna have to try to track down what is it, the Goose Creek that they put out? Don't they put one out around Christmas time?
Great Lakes puts out something called Goose Creek.
No. The Goose Creek puts out like out of Chicago, don't they?
Oh,
Remember, I got
you
the.
talking about the Boone County stouts?
I'm not sure. They're at the other house, so I can't even really go check. So
Talking about the bourbon barrel ones.
I'll grab. It's like a bourbon barrel, like it's some sort of beer and
Mm-hmm.
They put out one like every winter. I've got like the last 2 years.
Yeah, so that is Black Friday when they release those.
Is that okay? There's one place out 239
Mm-hmm.
that there's a little gas station out there in Clarktown that gets them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that little. It's a Shell station, right?
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's they just actually rebranded it, but it used to be a Shell station.
Like
Yes.
you go past like the softball, baseball fields.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then,
Yep. And Rubyville Church and all that out there.
So, did you get those links posted?
Yeah. I've literally
Okay.
just finished, and
Okay.
I am on Zencaster.
Yeah.
I already need another monitor. I've decided, but I'm too afraid to tell Tiffany.
So like you could get like a monitor for like $90 and just put it over on the side.
But I mean, if I'm gonna get one, might as well.
Fuck.
Might as well get one.
I mean, oh. Well, I'm sure there'll be lots of online deals over this next month.
Yeah, this one it was normally $359, and I got it for $200. So I
Okay.
feel I did pretty good on that.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Chad, you ready, my man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like it. Need the bad boy to come cheer you up.
That's right, Dark. Yeah, Dark Hayes says if you're gonna get it, you might as well go big. But
Our case knows. He knows.
I mean, how did you survive all this time with just one, and then now you're just like, I need a third?
Because I didn't. Because I never had. I never had two to know. You don't. You just. If you don't know, I mean, I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chad has 7 on his battle rig over there.
No, it's still only 5.
What's Doc's thing? Is it his 5th monitor or the 4th monitor that he? I think it's the 5th, right?
Yeah.
But like graphics cards only have 4 outputs.
Yeah.
But he has the 5th monitor.
Mine only has like 3 DPI or not DPI, but whatever it's called. The one that's not HDMI.
Oh, display port.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Display and 1 HDMI.
Cousin Cody's got a question for Chad.
I saw it, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. Let me get
Go
this.
for it.
Let me get this thing started up. Here we go.
All right, we'll do that in a mailbag, Cody.
Cousin Cody asked him if he's. I wonder if he's sipping on that Basil Hayden toast that he picked up at the house the other day. 3, 2, 1. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 86 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, November the 10th, and I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared.
Hello, everyone. There's this weird purple gun that is like sparking and smoking, and I'm sure Chad is going to talk a little bit about it, but I think it's a fusion rifle.
What are those? And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the TWAB. I think it's mostly white, but the purple's the most important part of it because of the shots and everything. But yeah, we'll definitely get into it here.
And make sure if you're watching us on YouTube that you remember you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, then resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us punchy friend requests so we can raid together and have all kinds of fun. We had Sam bring us the TWAB this week, and Sam really went out of their way to really give us a lot of information. But before we get to that, we're going to listen to the intro music from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone. There was a big vote that went on this week, and we probably need to start off about that. And I was going to tell everybody it's going to be okay. It's fine. It all happened on Tuesday, and it's over with. And that Cauldron is going to be the trials map this weekend. The community, everybody got the email. Everybody got the chance to vote if they chose to. They didn't give us the percentage of people that went out and voted or how the map split was, but Cauldron won out. So get ready for a lot of those storm grenades to get thrown through those doorways, trying to hold down center room, pop those doors open to try to get a peek shot in there too. So just y'all have fun this weekend, to say the least. I think I think all three of us voted for Cauldron.
No.
I absolutely did, solely because I want the PvP people to have a bad time. So if they're in there ruining trials for everybody else, I'm going to ruin trials for them.
Jared specifically told me not to vote for Anomaly, so I did.
Well, there you have it. So if you're trying to get that Reed's Regret, it's going away at the end of the season, so maybe they throw some extra XP your way for this weekend to deal with the pain and suffering that you will endure. All right, next up, we kind of led with this a little bit. Telesto's been acting up this week. It's been sparking. It's been smoking. It's been shooting constellations. Paul Tassie's been trending on Twitter saying that he knew this community event was coming, and somebody leaked it to him, or he got a couple DMs on the inside of what was going on, and he'd had the community just taking screenshots of the the burst of the projectiles from Telesto, trying to match it up with the stars, and I think even you was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I sat around in the throne room, or not the throne room, the throne world of Sabathoons. I literally spawned in, turned around to the cliffside, and just started shooting them off. People were saying they matched up with constellations. I could definitely see that, but seeing that because I was told that that's what they looked like is highly probable. Now I did see some patterns that did look familiar. I did have one that looked like Orion's belt, and a couple of other things that looked slightly familiar to me. I don't know much. But it definitely looked patterny enough, wherein there's only a set amount of patterns that they could have made, I think, based on their firing pattern. And because normally a fusion shoots them like very quickly, but like a machine gun, not all in one shot like a shotgun. But these all just went, and they just all popped out at the same time and just slowly drifted off into space. So lots of people were trying to figure out what's going on with that. And seeing if there was a pattern. They were going to each individual location that we had and trying to figure it out. Apparently people were, when they loaded into the Dreamy City and went into Blind Well, they heard a noise of some kind that hadn't been there before, apparently, while they had Telesto out, or Telesto equipped at least. And that became a whole new rabbit hole that was happening, and I'm just at work like, man, I really want to get home and be a part of the nonsense because it sounds like fun. People were going into the lore, saying that since it is based off of the Harbinger attacks, like the Harbinger attacks that what is it that Marasov and the Techeuns used on Oryx, it's based on those attacks, so it's used in that area in the Ring of Saturn, which is why Telesto's favorite planet in the email, if you got the email today, said Telesto's favorite planet is Saturn. And that's a hint towards the Harbinger weapon that was used on Oryx's ship. And it being kind of based off of that. So it's all kinds of nonsense being thrown around and Telesto taking over, and I'm all here for it because Telesto's my friend. But either way, whether it's literally nothing and just an emblem, or it actually is something, and we'll never figure it out for 30 years, I'm happy to be part of it.
So that's one half the coin, and I think Fox and maybe myself is on the other side. And Fox, like, what are we actually looking at here, and what is it benefiting to the player?
Clearly, Bungie has developed something that they want us to find. Bungie doesn't. You'll never convince me that there is a glitch or an unintended thing that happens that changes the model of the gun to begin to smoke and to have different firing like rates or whatever, like hold R to reload to change the fire pattern. I think that they are drumming up interest for something, but this community is so ravenous that any smallest thing they believe is going to be a giant thing. Think like Corridors of Time, the Fellwinter's Lie, all these community things that have happened in the past. And let's not even talk about the exotic missions that came out. And I think everybody's expecting that, but this is a new trimmer Bungie, where we don't get those things anymore. If we were going to get those things, we would have got those things in the last 2 to 3 years. We can't even get PvP maps, and we barely get a game mode. I have, you know what they say. The great American philosopher Jalen Rose tells us happiness is a function of expectations, and I expect nothing, so I am not upset when nothing happens, and I am very excited when anything happens. Essentially, at this point,
that's great words to live by, and that's a great outlook. Whenever you go into these game launches, new seasons, expect it to be low, and if that bad surpasses that, you're going to be a happy gamer. So to commemorate some of this stuff that's going on, there's a free emblem that you can go to bungie.net and put it in. So that is 9LX7YC6TX. So emblem's pretty cool. Just to commemorate the Telesto acting up again. And also there's a ship for Bright Dust in the store that's kind of like Telesto looking. So there's that. I think it was like 2,000 Bright Dust. All right. Next week, Iron Banner returns, and that is bringing back Eruption. And this time around, whenever a player is primed, used to be anybody that assisted with the defeat of that player got +5 for their team. Now it's only +5 for the person that actually defeated the player. So it doesn't get like a stack up. Like say you got 3 people getting the assist. That's +15 for the team that defeated the player that actually got primed. So it should be a good change overall. And that is it for the TWAB. So Sam says stay crafty. So try to do that. Still got red borders to chase of the Kingsfall raid and Dares of Eternity. So that's kind of a couple things I'm still keeping an eye on here. So now that brings us to 3 dislikes and 3 likes for this week. And I'll go ahead and start off with a like. We got the game together finally and tried to do some of the triumphs of King's Fall. So that's just like the regular ones is always available that you can do on your way through. And it's a lot of fun, actually a little more challenging. Having to actually have everybody have to rotate around with mechanics is probably something that we struggled with because a lot of times we have the same people do the same thing and just move it along. Just trying to get the clear done. But it was fun. And we knocked out some of them. I just got 3 triumphs left, and then I'm a Kingslayer.
Yeah, just a regular old Jamie Lannister you are. They kind of piggyback on that. Playing that last night and having to do things a different way in order to do a triumph. Kind of freshen things up a little bit, and it makes you remember like why we all love this game like we do, even though we get frustrated with it at times like I am currently. Whenever there's new things to do or just stuff mixed up a little bit, you really remember how much fun you can have while playing this game with your buddies, and maybe a few too many adult beverages while you're playing as well.
And my light for this week is that I can finally finish the Iron Lord title gilding next week. I'm hoping to have it done before the podcast, because I got other things to do. Part of my dislike is that I have to finish it before Friday. That's because that's when the new Pokemon's game drops next
Yeah.
Friday, and I'm super stoked. I'm ready for
Which,
it.
which one are you getting? Is this the one that's is this one
Man,
where like 2 drop at the same
I'm
time?
a grown man. I'll buy them both.
There we go. There we go.
I gotta buy them both. I'm like
the callers on this one?
I'm minutes away from buying another Switch so I can have both the games happen at the same time. It is Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, you do.
I have 2
Yeah,
Switches.
yeah. I know. I remember I wanted to buy one, and we never really got together on that.
I'll still sell you one.
I might hit up the Best Buy on the way home one day. But yeah, no, Scarlet and Violet. They're definitely looking weird. Super different. But I'm just happy to have a new game to play. I still have Andromeda on the brain, but that'll be for this weekend, and then it'll be the Pokemans. I'll have to spend a little bit of this week and next week trying to figure out how to set up a the capture card for streaming it to see if I can stream some Pokemans and really get in there. And actually play.
I'll watch. I'll definitely watch.
Make sure you stream it without the music because Nintendo is notorious about getting really mad at players putting their game up on. Yeah. Fox, when's the last time you played a Pokemon game? What generation was it?
Are we talking like really played? Like,
yeah, I mean really played.
Really played? Pokemon Red, and the original one on game, like Red and Blue.
Yeah,
I was a Red man myself, and I even bought the transfer cable or whatever it was called, so I could get
the link cable, baby.
Charizard. There it is.
Heck yeah!
Because you had to, if I recall, you had to trade like a Charmeleon back and forth in order to get it to evolve into the Charizard. No, not right.
No, that was at the time it was only
Alakazam
and Gengar.
Okay. So me and my neighbor, he was a blue man, I was a red man, and we shout out Chris Coons. We linked back and forth and traded our Pokemon in order to kind of achieve what we needed to achieve. And I almost picked up like Sword and or Shield because I do have 2 Nintendo Switches that we play solely for Mario. And I just never did because I was like, it looked a little too kiddie, like easy, which, Pokemon is basically the first RPG game that most kids play, kind of teaching you how to do that. And then is that Arceus or Arceus? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize. Kind of looked at that one, watched a lot of people play it, and just never pulled the trigger on that one either. So, but my dislike is people that play Farah and Junkrat. No, I'm just kidding. My dislike is the drop rate for Touch of Malice. It's ridiculous. We've had over 100 chances for it to drop for people at this point, as much as we've all played, and I think we've seen it drop exactly twice. So it's definitely less than 2% in our experience. So it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, at least there's something that we're chasing after in this game. Fox. I mean, it's not much else that we're really like logging in every week to go do besides trying to get a touch.
No, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be logging in most likely. I'd wait till the end of the season and see what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been moving, so it's been kind of hard to find time really to play at all. Between job and Kentucky basketball starting up, and it's kind of been hard to find some time to play.
All right. I've complained a lot about this game. I feel like in this last 3 or 4 weeks, just out of frustration, and my dislike this week is pretty simple, and that is just some of the connection I was getting in control. I was just like, I feel like I was really at least getting the body shot, and if it wasn't a headshot, and it just bullets wasn't registering, and I think that's just probably just a population due at this time, this late in the season. But I think I really miss connection-based matchmaking. Even if I got, killed by Grenado Jake 50 times in the game, at least it wasn't lagging whenever that stuff happened. All right, so that is it for 3 likes and dislikes. No weapons breakdown, and now it's up for gambling quarter, Fox.
Yeah, so we were able to complete Glassway, which was one that we had kind of been holding on to for a few weeks. And our first attempt, we wiped, because I believe it was the person who died the most in the first completion.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling it up here, right here. Go ahead, Jared.
All right, so Glassway, it has the void debuff on it, where you void weapons do extra damage, extra 25%, and void you take an additional 50%. So when you get to that boss room, the wyverns, the overload minotaurs, the bosses, they all shoot void at you, and you can die very quickly. So a lot of blinding grenade launchers for the wyverns. I had the Monarch for the overload champions that you could stun them at a very far distance and keep them stunned. And Chad, you did Ursa, right? Or did you do the Arc Titan?
Ursa.
Yeah,
I did Ursa's. Yeah,
and I was on Arc Titan.
I used it to pick you guys up once.
Yep.
Yeah. So we had our completed run. We ran it on 11.5. Our total score was 324,025 points. Took us 28 minutes, 31 seconds. Jared had 3 deaths, Chad had 1 death, and I had 1 death. So Chad and I would split that, and I think we each basically gained 1,000. It was 2,000 ante, winner take all. So we split Jared's money, and we each go up 1,000.
Yay!
With Chad's kind of running away this season with everything. I believe that brings our total. Jared will be at 6,000. I'll be at 9,000, and Chad will be at 15,000. We also have the first to get Touch of Malice ongoing, and it's still ongoing. So kind of frustrating. I kind of talked about that already, so we'll just leave it at that.
Just glad I haven't lost it yet.
That's right. And I will post this to the Twitter right now if anybody wants to see, I guess for verification purposes. While we're talking about Twitter and verification, we're totally paying $8 to get the check mark, right?
I'm fine with that. I really don't care. I
Okay.
didn't care either way.
I just want to make sure. So just want to make sure.
I have
All
no
right, and I
problem.
tweeted it out at Destiny CC Pod on there. You can see that.
I have no problem being a sellout and
Oh, that's
shilling out the
$8.
money. Yeah, it's like
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Since that, are we going to be doing any other gambling for this season?
So we still have one GM to run, correct?
Yeah, we got to do light plate.
Yeah. The hardest one ever
Man,
to exist in the
man.
history of man.
Can't wait to do that again. Let's do deaths on that one.
Okay.
Ooh. Are
let's do-
cumulative or
yeah,
starting
yeah,
after this?
cumulative. Starting now, starting
Okay.
today.
Okay.
From November the 10th on, from 10:24 p.m. From here on, the person with the least amount of deaths, and this is going to be 3,000 ante. So all of us
Ooh.
put 3
Oh, I had the fingers up before you even said
in.
it.
Yeah, that's right. All of us will put in 3, and winner take all. If tie, obviously we split, or yeah, we'll just split it just for ease.
Okay.
Sound good?
All right. Looking
Fine for
forward
now,
to
yeah.
it. And
Make that work.
Yep. All right. What's installed this week for half baked takes? Do you have one locked and loaded, Fox or Chad? If not, I can go.
So I do not, but I will have one next week. I've been like brainstorming one while driving in the car, but I'm not quite there yet. But it's a fix to the. Well, I'm gonna save it. If you have one, I'd appreciate it if you win.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't have one. Lore is gonna be stretched for the next couple pods because we, So yeah, we'll I'll talk about that more later.
All right. This is more of a pet peeve for me than anything, but Bungie should stop giving out emblems, and all emblems should be earned in game, and or should be time gated and gate kept. So like emblems and like weapon ornaments and all and stuff like that should be like difficult to get, and have tiers that you can get for as rewards. So there's really like the ultimate end goal in this game is getting some of the cosmetics, because that is what the best way to show off like how you've mastered encounters or dungeons or in raids and PvP. So like with this TELESTO one that just came out, should have been like get 500 kills with TELESTO this week. And then like you had PvP matches, everybody using TELESTO, strikes, everybody going through using TELESTO, just a week of TELESTO stuff. And it would have been fun. It would have been a way to commemorate the week. And it wouldn't have been that hard, but he's like, hey, I was there that week to get the TELESTO emblem.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Lord of Wolves and the laser tag emblem with
Yeah.
the solar exotic trace rifle.
Yeah, the laser tag one was the best.
What's it called, Chad? You always remind me.
Prometheus lens.
There it is, my dog. Like those two emblems, I think that's a fantastic idea. I mean, there's already too many emblems, right? I mean, you buy something from the store, you get an emblem. You buy the book, you get an emblem. You go buy the ghost at the store, you get an emblem. Pre-order the game, you get an emblem. Buy the season pass, you get an emblem. Like it's too much. It means absolutely nothing to me. It should be like a brag point. So I'm totally with you.
I mean, I definitely agree. There's a lot of free emblems, and I feel like the ones that are given out for a cause, the ones that are there to help people represent that they're standing with a specific community or or that they donated for stuff. Like the donation is the thing that gets it for you, or just like the free ones that they hand out, so you can be a part of a community or just show your support. Is those are totally fine, not being behind any kind of paywall whatsoever. Um, but I think the ones that are like in game, like this one that we just got, Schrodinger's weapon, for the Telesto, it would have been cool had they put it behind like a complete, like you can do X bound, like do 3 bounties, and the gunsmith has like these random bounties that are Telesto only, like complete 2 strikes with Telesto, um get like 5 Telesto kills in Crucible, and just something easy that you can do in like a match or two, and then like play a game of Gambit with Telesto, something that makes you go in there with Telesto on, because it'd just be fun to see, like, to go into Crucible that day, like on Tuesday. Could you imagine if we went in on Tuesday and every single playlist activity we went into just had people throwing Telesto around for fun? It'd be a fun time. Like, it's like, and you get your 3 bounties done, bang, and then he just gives you the emblem. Like, well, that'd be like an hour of your time to get an emblem, and it's just a way to bring the community together. And I think that'd be neat if it was something easy like that. Now, I don't know how easy it is to make a bounty. I don't know how easy it is to program that in, but that's basically on the players. Well, hold on, Ryan. That's on the players to equip it. They don't have to create any mechanics. It's literally just making a bounty, and that's it. That's all they would have to do. And then he wouldn't even have to give you the thing. It would unlock like a triumph in your little collections tab, and you're done. Like, that'd be great.
Mhm.
I would enjoy that very much.
You don't know how hard it is to program a bounty, Chad.
I said that. I said I don't know how hard it is to program a bounty.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's super difficult to program a bounty. So I
Not a
don't know though.
programmer. Can't say.
With the way content's been coming out, it must be super difficult to do most things in this, it seems like. So
All right, Chad. This week in lore, man. What's going on?
Well, I gotta stretch it a good amount because the pod's running real short unless we want to get to bed.
you can play
But,
Overwatch when you're done.
all right. Like I said, I think in the pre-show I said that the lore was very minimal this season. Really not much to go on. We got backstory for Spider, Aramis, and our good old boy Mistrax. And then we got a little bit more character building with Ido, and she didn't die yet. So everyone's alive. There's no Elixni Guardian as of now. But the lore was small. There was only 2 books, not including the Halloween one. And one of the books was only 4 chapters. And it was 4 chapters of a story that was given to us already through their little picture voiceover animation thing. So that one only like slightly counts to me because it was basically a more detailed version of that little video that they gave us mid-season, which I still like, by the way. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying the lore we got was that, and then something else. And it's really small. It's really condensed. You can tell based off of the triumphs this season, like killing 250 champions in Expedition, which is absolutely nonsense, that they're stretching some stuff out in order to force, quote unquote, people to play the game in order to complete triumphs. Because there are people that are going to try to kill 250 champions in Expedition, and I salute you. I'm not going to do it, no matter how much of a completionist I am.
What?
I hit the 100 mark on celebrating and champions, and I'm done with it. I'm going to do my last seasonal challenge to get the final piece I need to complete the table, and then I'm done. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching Expedition or Catch Crash ever again after that. Unless someone wants to do a master, then that's fine because I haven't done many of those. But the season has been very small for lore. So what I'm going to kind of talk about is a little bit of last year. We had Savathun basically building up the Witch Queen release throughout Beyond Light, basically making Xivu kind of a focus throughout the seasons, and then leading to a pinnacle moment in Season of the Lost, where we finally had Savathun in our hands, and Xivu was knocking on our doors in order to kill her for herself. And Xivu became this whole big bad that was built throughout the season. They've kind of done that with Callus a little bit here. That it led up with the season we had earlier with the Cabal. In the beginning of the year, we went into the Mindscape, so they gave us like, here's our allies, the Cabal. Here's more Leviathan-y stuff. We're gonna meet Callus again. This season's kind of like the yay, we're space pirates. But essentially it's basically building on Callus being the big bad for Lightfall. Because we already know about the Witness, and that's their own thing that will I'm assuming will be built on through Lightfall. But it feels very much like this year's kind of tying up loose ends more so than like last year was a big build up into Witch Queen. And this season kind of made things kind of collapse because it derailed onto a whole separate train of thought instead of like slowly building onto the same thing. Which is fine. It's totally fine, but it seems more like a filler season. Like this could have been put on at the end of like with the whole Dares of Eternity thing at the end of last year when the season was 6 months long. They could have just been like, hey, here's pirate season, hooray, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just whatever. But I feel like they still have a lot of loose ends to tie up as far as Callus is involved. We don't have much lore on Neomuna, and so we need to have something that kind of leads into that. And that's probably going to be next season. We have literally one weapon and one ghost that gives us lore on Neomuna. Muna. I think it's Muna. It basically tells us that the fish is basically their version of a ghost. And that we kind of know what their technology is like, but it's hyper advanced compared to what we have and even what Elsie Bray has ever seen, and she's traveled through time. So essentially we know that we're going through an area where even she has no knowledge of Neomuna. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see if Elsie Bray is going to be a big thing in the season coming up, or how they're going to lead into us finding Neomuna, because I doubt that it's going to be like a thing that just poof, there it is, like here's a cutscene, you found it, yay. Like it's because last year they had the whole Savathun thing building up, and then we had her in our clutches and we're chasing her. So throughout that season and the end of the season, basically going into the expansion of Witch Queen, it was, hey, we found her, now the expansion starts. And I'm hoping that they do that with this next season. But there's a couple of like weird ways that they could possibly do it. Like did Xivu find them? Like his Xivu, because Xivu was in the system. She was knocking on the door in the Dreaming City. And so like, is she there? Did she find Neomuna? And then they sent us a distress signal to get her out, but then Callus is there. So why, are they in cahoots? Are they both disciples? I'll see if I can find some reasoning as to why Xivu might be involved all next year throughout the year, or just a seasonal thing, or if just next season Xivu's back. Rasputin he has his eyes across the entire solar system. How had he never found it? Is he going to be our key into finding out what's going on with Neomuna? Or are we going to unlock a part of his brain that like he's like, oh yeah, I knew about these guys already, and just didn't say anything because they're safe where they're at. But I've been hinting at why I want a Rasputin season for a year now, at least. I definitely at the end of last year was talking about how I want a Rasputin season at least once this next year. Probably not a season of the, what was it? Season of the not the poison. What was it?
Season of the Worthy?
No. The fan made one. Where like Fellwinter was a vendor.
Okay. I don't remember that.
It was a thing. It was a thing on Reddit, and Bungie talked about it a little bit. But I'm like, I don't really need a whole Fellwinter. I think it started with a V.
I
But
think
it
it
was a
was
whole thing
paper.
like
Yeah.
Bellwinter is like the vendor. You talk to him and you do stuff, and I'm like, I don't need the plague lands and Bellwinter in here. Like, that's a whole new area. You could just give me Rasputin and put me in the crypt again. Open up that door on the left, which I've been saying since Deepstone popped up, and just let me go in there and do stuff. I want to put Rasputin in the body, and that's the best place to do it. Is literally the place the Exos were created. Um, Elsie has a bunch of scientific data on creating Exos on her own without the need of the Brave facility, but being in the Brave facility with Anna as well. Come on, man! Like that's excellent. And if that leads into, oh, it's a little dude. If that leads into us finding Neomuna like at the end of the season, like we put Rasputin in a body and he's like, hey bro, all my sensors are going off, and because I'm in a body now, I have like extra perception on stuff and something's going on over there on that planet. And then we go there and find out that we're just a little too late and Callus was already there, or Callus followed us or something. I don't know, but Zivu or Rasputin are two ways to lead into that next season, and I think next week I'll try to give my arguments on why either one is plausible. I'm obviously very 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 heavily biased towards one of them over the other, but I'm gonna try to make arguments for all of them, and then I'll see if you guys give me ideas, or if Ryan and Jared here give me an idea. I'll try to come up with evidence as to why they might also be correct as well. Ryan being the spoiler guy, he might accidentally give me the correct answer, just in hopes that I prove it. And Jared, being the guy who listens to me about random nerdy lore stuff, might also accidentally do that as well. But we'll see. I'll definitely have more for that next week for sure. This was kind of just my thoughts on what's happening this year based off last year, and changes that they could make. But hopefully next season has a bunch of stuff in it, because they definitely had a break season with this one lore wise, and we need something to end off the
You're
year.
not allowed to. I'm the one that says that. You're not allowed to say that.
I'm allowed to say that whenever.
That's my role on this podcast, calling them out.
Like whatever this game of chess that's going on between the Traveler and the Witness, I mean, Aramis is free now, so I mean, she is a pawn for the Witness to push his power forward. So, I mean, whatever it is, like he still thinks he needs a bigger army to take on the Traveler and the Guardians. So I still think he's going to still try to assemble, shore up his defenses or attack or whatever he's going to do, to probably just eventually just surround us all. All right. All right. Next up is.
I wish we had Thanos in this game.
Yeah. Next up's the mailbag. First question here is from Cousin Cody. He submitted it through the YouTube chat. I was streaming here live. As a fan of Destiny, of Destiny's lore and Dune, I've always thought Destiny has been heavily influenced by Dune. Does the lore daddy Chad have any thoughts?
Oh man, I saw that in the chat, and I was trying to dig in my Dune knowledge, and my main issue with that is that I have literally zero Dune knowledge whatsoever. So I honestly can't give any kind of thoughts on it.
Cody's right.
I wish I
Cody's
could.
very much right.
I would love to listen to you about it and hear you list off parallels. It'd be definitely very interesting.
So basically, Dune has a lot to do with worms. Kind of think of Zol and
Okay.
and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of that's similar. Keep in mind, since Cousin Cody is my cousin as well as Jared's cousin, I know that Cousin Cody has. I've only read the first 2, maybe 3 books of the Dune series, and Cody is way further than me, way more knowledgeable than I am about the series, and so I take his word for it. If there's similarities, I'm sure there are similarities. But the similarities that I am aware of, it's very much influenced like the hive gods and the worms and all that is very much Dune-y. So it was kind of cool because I didn't get into Dune until probably like the last 3 or 4 years. Um, there was a guy I know who recommended it to me, and I read the first book, and then I think I read the first two, maybe three. I can't exactly remember how much of it I read, but it's very very much similar. So um, the movie's good. It's on HBO.
Mhm.
Never watched it. Highly recommend it. They're already set up to make the second one. So um, me, if I recall, and this is probably wrong, so don't like uh, Julius Caesar me in the chat with all the stabs. But I think that like the guy that becomes the bad guy in Dune, if I recall correctly, sets it up to where whenever he's killed, he releases all these worms that are pieces of him that travel to like all over the universe and other parallel universes and timelines to where he's always around. So he's like made up of these worms. Kind of think of like the powerful worms with the hive. So uh, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Next question.
Hold on. I think there's one thing.
Oh, you got something?
Yeah. You know, Dune has
You
a
got
lot of great actors and actresses in it, and that Zendaya should come be a voice actress for something in Destiny.
Be all right with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe they could even. I've always thought it was weird that some of the characters aren't modeled off of other people.
Hmm.
As cinematic as Bungie is and everything, it'd be cool to have. I mean, I'm not just the Miles Teller is the new Hunter Vanguard. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just and that I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Next question: how do I avoid burnout on Destiny 2? I don't know. If you figure it out, let me know. 7 years, 7 years later, I have the burnout currently. I'm trying to play other games. Dabbling in a little bit of Overwatch to get that PvP. The PvP, like the urge for that, kind of get that done. I've always been more of an objective guy than like just a Slayer guy. So Overwatch is pretty nice for that. I've been playing. I'm at like literally, I'm probably like 3 hours away from the end of Spider-Man. I have Death Stranding waiting for me after that. I also have like the last half of Final Fantasy VII Remake waiting for me after that. I have like the last 70% of the God of War 2018. And the new God of War came out on PlayStation, but I'll never play it on a PlayStation. So I have a little bit of time for God of War before it comes to PC. So I'm that's at the bottom of the list. But man, what a game! All those games are good. They're all. I also really want that Uncharted collection or whatever that's on Steam, but I'm kind of too cheap to pay $50 whenever I have like 5 other games to play. Like because I got Valheim, Spider-Man, and all the ones mentioned before. So I'll probably wait and see what it looks like on Black Friday to see if there's any sort of sell on that. And then I'll probably pick it up as well if I had to guess.
So for me, I don't avoid burnout. I do really enjoy that map in Destiny 2, but like just don't play control. That way you can back out of the map at any time and you don't get a quitter penalty. And I know it's a heavily favored map whenever you run elimination or sometimes it's on for trials weekend too. So just don't play that weekend.
Or just play strikes or something
I
else.
see what you did there. That is my favorite map.
I definitely I've been saying it a lot this season. Surprisingly, compared to Ryan here, he's usually the one that starts it, but I've been definitely going into other games and just playing other stuff. If I'm not grinding stuff out with these guys or helping out my other Cali squad, I'm either gonna be reading a book or playing a different game. Those are gonna be the two things I'm doing.
Bird.
Just yep. Um, just to get my mind off of something else, and then playing something else new and doing something. Like I said, I'm going into Pokemans. And I've been playing Mass Effect, finished 3, started Andromeda, just doing something different. And because I'm not burnt out when I'm playing with the homies, I'm just burnt out when I'm playing by myself. And
Yeah,
there's
that's
lots
it.
of really good
Exactly
single
right.
player games you can get. And I think Jared and I have talked about it, but there's a couple of like RPG style board games on Steam that I want to get these guys into, and I'm more than happy to bankroll all of it. But just finding something
Dude,
else to do, whether it's
literally anytime I'm down.
yeah,
Anytime
yeah.
I'm down to
We'll
play
talk about it
something.
after the podcast here.
The tabletop simulator. I know I mentioned that before to you guys, so
hmm
maybe something we could look into. If that's something any of you would be interested in, tweet at us at Destiny CC Pod or send us a message somewhere. I mean, we're pretty out there on the places, and we could probably get you involved in that as well.
All right, question.
Question 3. Sorry, Jared. What is your all-time favorite weapon in Destiny? What is your all-time least favorite weapon in Destiny? That is a hard one. I would say my favorite weapon is probably, it's not necessarily the best weapon, but my favorite weapon is probably Divinity. I know it's kind of a weird one to say is a favorite. I've always kind of liked running the Divinity because it's a little different than just doing DPS. You're kind of debuffing the boss, and especially like running Warlock, you could throw a well down, give the debuff. You are kind of the unsung hero. Is kind of how I always felt. And plus, when everybody starts talking about DPS, you can claim 25% of everybody else's DPS, which puts you up pretty high up on the stack there. So that's what I would always do. My all-time least favorite weapon, probably, this might be hard to believe, but recently I've really grown to hate what is it, Half Truth, the sword that has any sword with eager edge, to where people can knife you, like use a sword and knock you off a ledge or something like that. It's pretty obnoxious and I hate it. So that would be up there. Up until then, I would have probably said Mountaintop. I loved Mountaintop in PvE, but hated it so much in PvP. Same with Recluse. So both of those were weapons I loved and hated. So it's kind of a complicated relationship with those two.
So, your least favorite weapon then is the sword with eagle edge. Is that the winner?
Yeah. But up until like this season or last season, it would have
Okay.
been Recluse or Mountaintop probably.
My all-time favorite is Thorn. Like this finally, like the achievement of getting all the void kills in Destiny 1 and bouncing it out with not dying. That accomplishment was like it's really up there for me. Working on in the end game, and then I'm moving it in Destiny 2. It needs a buff in Destiny 2 right now. It needs a major buff, and maybe it gets one with Strand somehow. And hunters need Buns of AO, so we can get like plus 30 AE for Thorn to make it good in PvP and give it a range buff. So Thorn is no doubt my favorite. Least favorite for me, basically whatever triggers me the most, I would say, for this weapon, and that would be No Time to Explain. Still, I just hate that weapon.
Oh man. I don't play a lot of PvP, so I can't immediately think of a least favorite, but while I'm talking, I'll think about that. My all-time favorite weapon in Destiny, I'm gonna expand this to in Destiny, the franchise, is Saladin's Vigil. You could get that thing to max range, and it made the Arental cry at how far it ranged people. And I loved that thing. I had that thing with a quick draw and rangefinder. Rangefinder on a fusion. It was
Not even fair.
monstrous. It was hilarious. I would just go, oh, quick swap, brap, and just dead. Just dead over there, way over there. And I'd be getting pulse rifle ranges with this thing, just killing people. It was magnificent, and I loved it. And I a rental's a very close second, but that gun has a very, 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 very close place in my heart. It's right there, lock and key, just staying right there. Obviously, Pocket Infinity's right next to it, but Pocket Infinity is just because it's funny. Saladin's Vigil is my number one shawty. I think least favorite might have been I think D1 Fellwinter.
Hmm.
That thing murdered me so many times that I absolutely despised it, and I didn't even like grinding it in D2 to get a good one. I'm like, I don't want to use this. I refuse to get this gun and use it after what it did to me in D1. I don't want it. Get it away from me.
Hey Chad, what was that? What was that sniper that had? It was an Iron Banner sniper in Destiny 1, and it could get the what was the one where the last round could body shot you? What was the name of that perk?
Final round?
Was it final round where you would hear like people firing out
Yeah, bang, 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 and then
their
they'd have their
sniper?
last shot. Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
final
and
round.
then what was that? What was that name of that sniper? Do you recall in Destiny 1? It was
Uh,
definitely an Iron Banner. It's all
I
right. It's all
don't
right if you don't
remember.
remember. It's not a big deal. Not a bit. It was named after one of like the Iron Lords, I'm sure. But yeah, man, that gun was that sniper was quite obnoxious in Destiny 1. So
All right, question 4. Do you guys stream when you play? Always looking for more people to watch. Fox, this is probably aimed at you here.
I just recently moved, just recently have a setup to where like I don't have to move my camera and my ring light and my stream deck, and I don't have to move these things every time I want to use them. They have like a permanent home. So I have been streaming whenever we've been playing like the last week or two. I don't use the YouTube because we just kind of save it for podcasts, but we do have a Conqueror's Corner Twitch account. It's literally just twitch.tv/Conqueror's Corner, all one word. So I would love for you guys to come. More importantly than like coming to watch the stream, it would be pretty rad if you guys just hit us up and you wanted to play with us. So, like I said, we're usually looking for people to play with, and there's nothing I'd love more than to play with people that listen to the podcast or whatever.
We definitely. I think I usually try to say it at the end of every podcast to join us. We're always looking for people to run through. Jared and I, if you guys want to learn a dungeon, the three of us, if we want to do, if we want to do a raid, and just any of that content's always fun. Getting people into their first raid and or their first dungeon is always great because it really opens up the world of Destiny to people, because there's so many people that I play with. Like I have people at work that play the game, and I'm like, yeah man, like the new dungeon came out, like, oh, I've never done a dungeon. I'm like, what do you mean there's a couple, you've never done a single dungeon? Well, I don't have a group to play with. And I'm like, hey, you and me, we're 2-man in this thing. We're 2-man it tonight. We're gonna 2-man it tonight, and we do it. And they're like, dude, that was awesome. Like, can't how many other ones do we have to do? And I'm like, dude, there's 3 other ones. Like, let's go for it. Let's do this. And then after doing that, they go, hey, like, I've seen raids and stuff, but there's 6 people. And I'm like, don't worry about it, man. I can find 6 people. We only need 4 or more. And it's really fun to get people into there, because it really opens up a lot of content that people are really shy about because they don't want to have to find a group. And if you listen to us, you already kind of know what we're really about. So, we're not 3 random LFGers that you're going to be playing with. And then we're probably going to pull either 2 more listeners or 2 clanmates who we play with all the time. So it's going to be a really chill squad. And that's,
Super chill. Like
super
no
chill.
expectations.
Yeah.
Like we'll explain it as many times as needed.
Yeah.
And we're probably the best Destiny players east of the Mississippi. So yeah, at least two of us are east of the Mississippi, I guess.
Ryan.
Uh,
Aphrodite's spear.
There it is. Thank you for your service, Chad. Last question: how do we die? I figure mine is probably heart disease, maybe diabetes. Not real sure. But if we're talking about destiny, I'm guessing
On burnout, which is why I asked, how do I
yeah.
avoid it?
On destiny, I hope that it is because it's going to be a sacrifice, right? Like we're going to sacrifice ourselves for something. Probably the obvious answer, in my opinion. I don't know
Like I
what
said
that's going
before,
to
man,
be, but I hope it's cool. I hope it's worthy, and I hope that we save somebody cool.
I hope it is a final stand reach moment where we're just in the last city killing darkness creatures while we watch like the last ships flee into some other solar system. And we're just there alone, murdering everything we can. And then like we have cracks in our visor and our ghost pops up to heal it and he gets got. And then we're just there holding him like this is it. And I hope it's like a moment like that, because that moment it was such a big deal to me when I played it the first time, and I'm like, I hope we have a moment like that, because it's like, you start that game, you're dying, but you don't know how, and it's such a cool last stand. It's just it would be awesome to have that in in Destiny. That'd be
Hey,
one way I'd be like, yeah, my vault's gone.
yeah, real talk. I would be very. I think I would actually get emotional if that's how it ends. So, man, kind of sad to think about, kind of exciting to think about as well. I just hope that they can land the plane because Lord knows they've got 7 years of loose ends to tie up, right? So I just hope they can land it. I hope it's not a D&D situation like Game of Thrones to where they can't land the plane. So fingers crossed.
so last season, Zavala kind of touched on we're not meant to live this long, and there's so many memories that go through your mind, and like there's only so much like the non-exos, and we don't really know how the Woken can handle, but like there's only so much your brain can keep. And I've been thinking about this, like what if like eventually our guardians can't register when somebody's a friend or foe, and we just start killing guardians, killing the last city, just like killing our ally Elixni, and like they're literally like we can't have these guardians live any longer. So they was like, we're gonna have to put them in cryo chambers, and so the guardians, it's like, all right, before we all go senile, we gotta go be put in cryo chambers, and then that's how Destiny 3 happens. Is like whatever happens again, they're like, we need help from the Guardians, and we're just like, we gotta let them back loose again. So that I think that's the bridge, and that's how you end Destiny 2, and sometimes Destiny 3 will happen again.
So you think that even though we've already like seen our grave or whatever, you think that's just super in the future, like super?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even like that was a time thing. We could have branched off from that a long time ago. Like just seeing
You're
the
right.
grave could have branched us off of that timeline.
Very much so. It absolutely could have, but I don't know, man. Bungie, they can definitely start a story and get it to the middle, but let's see how they can end a story. They did a great job in Halo Reach, definitely. So I don't know. And then they were always pretty good. Think of like ODST. We got what was his name, Buck, Nathan Fillion or whatever, that came in, and so they're also pretty good at introducing characters that aren't necessarily the main character, that can kind of bridge between different trilogies or genres, not necessarily genres, but different stories that are in the same universe. They're always kind of good at introducing somebody that can kind of exist in two different universes. So thinking about that and Halo Wars as well. And then, so I don't know. It's cool. But Bungie knows what they're. I do have some faith in Bungie when it comes to those things. Hopefully they can go with it. Do you guys have anything else to add before I start wrapping up? That was the last question.
Yep.
All right. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Click the bell, turn on the notifications, subscribe on the YouTube channel. We also have a Twitch that we're using to kind of stream a little bit. It's twitch.com/Conqueror's Corner, all one word, no apostrophe, nothing like that. I'm going to let these other two guys sign off.
Yeah, so not a lot going on right now. So if you've been listening to the podcast, this is your first time listening, leave us a review of what you think. Roast us. Tell us how we screw up, what you'd like to see better. On iTunes, I think is the best way to do it, where we can get on there and see it, or you just straight DM us your review.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, and like I try to say every time, hit us up. We're always happy to show off the Bungie dungeons, get people in there for their first time, second time, 1700th time, whatever. Definitely hit us up if you want to try a raid. We'd like to get people in there, people learning. Like I said, King's Fall is probably the easiest raid in Destiny 2 right now, and it gives out pinnacles if that matters to you. Definitely starting next season. We're going to be running it all the time, including the new dungeon. So hit us up on everything, including in the Discord, and add us on Bungie. Make us your Bungie friends, and hit us up.
Go Cats.